I'm back with the continuation from my last video about the clinical trials, being a test dummy or a pilot program, what have you. And, you know, to be honest, I believe that after the years that, after watching me for so long, that this chick, who I believe is my sister, strange sisters, and her friends that must be doctors or some kind of psychiatrist for the FBI or, have some kind of degree or something. They must have, had it in for me, which they wanted to see me do bad, but they must have also had, a thing for me. They must have been enamored by the lifestyle that I live, because people were attracted to me, and not only like in a sexual way, and attracted to what I had to say. And I try to preach the good word, not necessarily I didn't preach from the Bible because I haven't read the Bible that much, but I just preach that, a lot of people ask me like, why aren't you religious or this and that. I say, your definition of religion and my definition of religion are different. As a child, I've been placed in, different churches and denominations or, beliefs. And I never really felt comfortable because I felt that, that these people were pretty much, maybe not everybody, but, as a whole, these people, or at the core, these people thought they were better than somebody else's religion. And I felt like, well, shit, I have to deal with this shit on the streets, to day. I'm worrying about me being different than somebody else's or another religion. That's just another barrier in my life, and not the barrier like a struggle, a barrier like that's keeping me from relating or just connecting with people, and that I would live my life the way I think God wanted me to be, and not necessarily having to go to church or read the Bible or pray every day. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not judging anybody for doing that, but in my life, I lived a hectic life, and the way I try to keep my beliefs and my good grace was to do just to do well, and to do well specifically to those that were doing bad, that really needed a helping hand or words of encouragement. And so, anyways, so I believe that they were fighting with themselves. They had a struggle where they hated me, but they loved me. And I believe that low key, after getting out and realizing that a lot of the chicks that my sister was sending to me, the one they all used to say, a lot of them mentioned San Diego this, San Diego that, and they would all be freaks and want to do freaky stuff with me. So I'm starting to believe that they had a sexual fascination for me also. And but we'll get to more of that later. I'm gonna start breaking down a lot of the people that were. I'm 99.9% that these people were confidential informants, as I know what it's, I've dealt with a lot of people in my life. I know what a regular conversation is like, and I know what a conversation trying to get to a certain point is like. Those are skills that you have to learn when you grow up on the streets or you live in prison. These are skills that like a lot of, police officers and cops, they think they have, but, unless you're very, very experienced or you grew up your whole life living on the streets, that's like third nature to you, when to me it's like second nature, but nature is always number one. So let's begin. Let me see. So when I got kicked out of when I got out of prison, I didn't have anywhere to go. I didn't know where I wanted to go. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I felt lost. I didn't believe I was getting out. They ended up sending me to a rehabilitation place, and the rehabilitation, it was like a, excuse me, uh, housing for alcoholics and Narcotics Anonymous, excuse me, where you would get also get psychiatric treatment, or at least counseling, And so the first woman I talked to, I'm not sure if she was an informant and she wasn't good at it, or if she was trying to warn me. But she knew something, because she told me her name was Dee Dee. She was I don't know if she was the guard she was at the front desk, So she pretty much watched us and made sure nobody left in. And this is a common thread throughout. These people would usually contact HR, or send somebody in a clerk position, or in a position where they had access to some type of information, or access to easily spreading, the word in not at the bottom of the totem pole, at a higher level. And yeah, so she starts telling me about how, she had a man in prison and she was waiting for him. And I don't know, the conversation just wasn't right. There was something wrong with her, what she was telling me. And, she would call me out the blue from nowhere, but I didn't have too much information on her, but I'm just dropping names because, ain't no telling if what's gonna happen to me. Now the other girls were obviously the girl I had told you, Griselda, and her homegirl Maricela, which they worked in clinics, and clinics that ran blood work and hospital work for these halfway houses, which obviously had information leading to the pen. And so I believe that they were contacted and asked to pull information from me. And obviously her homegirl did. She asked me all these questions about prison and where I've been at, and so on and so forth. Okay, that's just the beginning. The second time I remember a confidential informant is when I got a job at Tyson Krupp. I got a job with, I worked for some pretty much, fixing parts from a car company named Karma. And basically the whole car there was from Orange County, and the lead and the manager and the lead were from Orange County. And the lead was cool. She was a dyke chick, real female. You could tell that, she'd been around and she knew what time it was. And they brought in her brother. Her brother was a little dope fiend. And he told me how, he got caught with some drugs and he lost his license. And he kept mentioning Washington. And I didn't realize that, before I got out, there was a chick from Washington trying to help me out. And so he was trying to relate to that. And then he started talking about big homies and big homie this, big homie that. I mean, this dude never, did wino time. What the hell is he gonna know about big homies? He said I believe his dad was one or something, but you could tell somebody who's in the mix and who's not in the mix. And I even think his sister tried to warn me. She pretty much told me, "Fuck that fool," and yeah, this dude, Robert Gomez, I'm calling out names, motherfucker. Yeah, he started asking me questions about where I live, where I grew up, who I knew. He was trying to look it up on the maps. He wanted me to point stuff out. this is stuff that the detectives would do. That they're trying to find out. Obviously, I was still under suspicion of the RICO Act, so they're trying to trace where my roots are from and who I know and why am I able to get away with, pretty much doing what I wanted in prison, up to the point where they crossed me. The FBI and the COs help the fellas cross me. So he's asking me like just way too much information, but I mean, there's nothing much I could share with him other than people that I've come across in prison, and people that the prisoners, the institutions themselves have put in my cell or put me next to, in hopes that I would make a connection with them, grab the address or something, and boom, I'm validated right there. But I had I didn't have ambitions of being a member of any affiliation. My ambitions was to make it on my own and build something for me that that will help my family and other people. And my ambition was to be my own man and make it in life, and do what I do, lead. And so yeah, so that's the first one. That's the first guy aside from the girl that I had already talked about. After that, I would say next came some chick. She's on my Facebook right now, Amber, white girl. She said she moved down specifically from Fresno. Now, Fresno, right before I kicked over, there were some big homies rolling around. I don't even know if they're big homies, but they said they were in Fresno trying to show word to me and doing all this shit, and and to top it off, my celly at the time was from Fresno too. So I did think about it. I had crossed my mind like, man, this is awfully suspicious. But I was a horn dog. I came out of prison. I'm smashing it, and she was trying hard, And she had told me that she had been in contact with police and stuff before that she left Fresno, and that she came down here on the run, and so on and so forth. So I knew that another confidential, trying to get information from me. Later on, she got with another dude from prison, started, trying to fish. Once again, like gang shit, gang stuff, big homies this, big homies that, the big dogs and whatever. But I'm not falling for it, I mean, I couldn't fall for it because I don't have the information that they want me to have, that they're praying or fucking, or I don't know what, hoping, crossing their fingers because they done use me as a test dummy, put all kinds of stuff in my body. Who knows what else they done to my body? As like I said, I've never been the same since those surgeries, and so that's another one. Another chick. Let me see. I was approached by over the internet, over POF. And the best thing about this, my phone records are out there. That, they have a record of my phone because my phone's been tapped the whole time. I'm not stupid. They're sending people after me. Obviously, I'm under investigation still. And so now we got these two chicks. They're a lesbian couple, and they tell me some story about how one of them, she hadn't been with the guy in so long. The one I can remember, the one that I thought was cute, she was big girl, chunky girl, but I like chunky girls too, Everybody deserves a little loving. And her name was Des, and they said they lived out in San Jacinto or something, but that they spend their life, at least one of them, that she grew up in San Diego, frequenting the bars by the beach. And he kept talking about the beach, and I related that to the hospital they took me to have the surgery with. They was by the beach, and they had mentioned something that had raised flags, they had told me that their dad was a farmer, a weed farmer, and they like green, you know. And so bam, I already have my high signs up, like, oh, my radars, they hit the radar, the wrong button, so now I'm paying attention. But at the same time, I'm trying to dig these girls out. Part of my language, I'm trying to sleep with them, you know. And so they go on to tell me that they have a bunch of green in the trunk if I was interested. And I was like, I didn't answer that. I just let that hang. I want to see what else they were gonna say, and they were just frozen too. They didn't know what to say, and I believe that they were trying to buy me out, by my silence, you know. And but I didn't say nothing. I was like, man, you know, this is crazy. So they took me out. We had dinner at El Chingon, and I found it weird that the dinner was comped. So, you know, I don't know if people knew that I was on my way there. It was prepaid by, you know, my sister, who, you know, she sent them because right now, you know, everybody's pointing at her. All the evidence is pointing at her. And even if there's not, you know, once we crack one case against her, you falling for the rest of them, you know. That's how the law works. Unfortunately, fortunately, you know, and, you know, shit, you know, it's time for somebody else, you know, to be a victim of the motherfucking law. And so, yeah, so I slept with them, and they rented a room at the Marriott. The father, the hotel my father supposedly worked at. Well, now I think he was a CIA agent or something like that, but I could be wrong. But yeah, they took me there. You know, come on, that's not too much coincidence right there. You know, I'm a wanted man. They're making me offers. You know, so I slept with one of them, but I didn't even finish. That shit was boo boo, and they called me the next day. They were like, "Hey, please don't say anything at all, and don't call us." And they hung up. And I was like, cool, you know, yeah, that shit wasn't good anyways. But so at that point, I knew, you know, yeah, these fools are on me, man. They're trying to make me offers, you know, and I wasn't gonna take no deal, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. You know, I was in limbo, because I knew they wanted to hurt me, you know, and they were not gonna leave me alone. But then I knew that in California, excuse me, I was gonna get no help. I don't know if I'm gonna get any help here either. But now I've had time to at least relax and start writing people and typing and just letting everybody know my story. And, you know, somebody will come across something that will prove what I'm saying is true. And that's just the point of these videos. You know, I know that with the internet, you know, things get passed along, and one day somebody's gonna see something, the next day 2 people, the next day 4 people, and then before you know it, we have a movement. And yeah, so those chicks definitely were offering me cash and ass, but you know, I'm cool. And that was that one. The only place I frequented was the bar, like I had mentioned earlier. And I'm after I mentioned how all the cars, the people that attacked me, their cars matched, and I believe they were working for the same people. I started going back thinking, and I'm realizing that a lot of these girls, you know, they would go sit right in the center of the bar where I would hang out, and some of them were, you know, kind of professional. They'll wait it out, you know, they'll wait a few times. And I got around, I talked to everybody, whether I'm trying to sleep with you or not, women, guy, whatever. I talk to everybody, have a couple of drinks, and I can't stop talking. And, you know, I knew some of the guys in there were approaching me, and they were cops. Some of them even admitted being cops, and, you know, and try to be sort of threatening in their manners. But I'm not one to take no threats, and I stand tall for my beliefs and what I've done. And I knew I wasn't in the wrong. I'm not perfect. I've done bad things, but as a whole, I wasn't in the wrong, and so I was gonna let these fools push up to me and in the bar without their gun. They're nobody. You know, they might have backup outside. But as far as I'm concerned, you ain't gonna be pushing up on me. I don't take shit from no bullies. So yeah, so there's many more to come. I get my thoughts together and I'll just sit them out one at a time. And some of these people, I don't have names with them. Even girls that I slept with, I might not have their names, but I'll try to say like what city they were from, and that way, there's phone records out there, and that way, we could relate the phone numbers to the women, and go from there, and start I mean, there'll be a lead somewhere. Somebody will hear something, and somebody will point, that rancho out. Uh, yeah, that's it for now. Thank you.